So greetings everyone, and Happy New Year. Back at the car, try to get a couple things done. So right now I'm retapping this one hole that I had to drill out, and I got another one in the rear. Got some supplies that I needed. Where are they? New studs. These are kind of cool because they go in with an Allen key in the top, so you screw them in that way. I got these special slotted nuts that are used on these manifolds. These are very similar to what was on these to begin with, mainly on the outside. Here and here in the back for the exhaust manifold. What else? I got some Loctite for those because they go into the water jacket, as I told you. I got some longer bolts here for the connection between the two manifolds, the upper and the lower. So also I got an EGR gasket, which this will be used for a blanking plate, because the manifolds don't really use, we don't really require using the EGR valve. All right, so tapping out this hole. Let's give it a little bit of go-go juice in there. Haven't tapped a hole in a long time, but basically, if I remember correctly from Metal Shop, you want to turn and twist back. Turn and twist back. So, just cutting the new threads in here. Not sure if I'm bottomed out or not. So that's what I'm doing. I'll do the other side and we'll come back. All right, finished tapping that hole. You put some Loctite on here. Yeah, it's on there. Studs are a little bit longer. It's not actually goes this way. But let's put it on that way for now. All right, move forward. Got a couple little bumps here, but the nice thing, wherever my new gasket is, it's a Remflex. I think I have it in a box so it doesn't break, because they're very fragile. So it'll take care of all these little imperfections, and I can probably file down some of this. But that should suffice. So do the exact same thing on the other one, and I may be off a tiny bit when I drilled this out. Maybe that's the center line and I'm a little bit further over, but we'll make it work one way or the other. All right, let's put these in here so Don't get any critters in there. All right, signing off for now. Hey, fellow car enthusiasts, specifically Mopar Slant 6, which is what this channel normally does, only because I can afford one car. Hey, you know, the A-body cars are getting up in value now. So anyway, I was at the car. You guys remember where we were at last time. Let's go over a couple things. First off, check this out. Whoa, tons of light, which is good for these old eyeballs because they don't work as well as they used to. And work a lot of hours fixing things up at work. Anyway, I did get over here one time and tap out this one hole and was able to get a stud in there. Like I said before, when I drilled this out, it's a tiny bit off, so I'm hoping we can adjust for that. I'm about to tap this one over here, and we'll see that once we get going. And yeah, I'm just happy to kick it in. I don't have a lot of time today, so we'll get as much done as we can. Really happy with this light, man. It is such a struggle. When you guys get into your late 40s, 50s, it gets a little harder to see. So this light is awesome, man. I can't wait to work with this. So let's see, I got my tap here, my wrench, or whatever you call it, tap wrench. Yeah, I have another one down there somewhere in case I need it, a different type. And we're gonna stud in that. Also have my little buddy. Hey, little buddy. Hey, Skipper. Propane heater, because it's about 20-something degrees here today. So I'm gonna fire this puppy up, keep my hands warm. All right, we'll be back. All right, it should be heating up pretty soon. I think I must have done this one the last time I was here because it's screwing in. I didn't remember that I did this. Well, it speeds up the process, huh? The one thing I'm kind of worried about is after drilling and tapping out this, I'm going to probably get, you can see some of this residue here, probably going to get some of this in the water passages behind, which it runs behind this. So what I wound up doing before, when I first got this brand new radiator, was to put a pantyhose toe sock in here, and that caught a lot of rust. So once I put this together, I'm going to do the exact same thing, because I don't want all these metal filings and shavings going into my brand new radiator and clogging that thing up. So that's one thing I'll probably take care of. All right, let's get a stud in there. Here's the studs. I think I showed you these before. These are a nice design. I don't know if you can see that, but they have an Allen head key or Allen hole key right there, so that you can put these in without having to stack some nuts on the end of this. It's a nice little feature. So I'm going to use a little bit of 502 Loctite thread sealer in this. Is that a little bit? See, these are a little bit longer than the others. And I'm going to wind up replacing this one, even though it's good. I mean, hindsight, I probably should have bought all brand new ones, but I didn't. So let's get this next one ready, because I know there will be a coolant coming out of that one, because that's what happened before. Just clean up this mating surface a little. Alright, all the studs in there. I'm going to do a test fitting of the manifold. Let's get an idea what this, how this is all going to look. Okay, so here's that Remflex gasket, exhaust and intake manifold gasket, and along with the area that connects the two together, the intake and exhaust manifold. It's the gasket for that. So take this out of the package. These are very brittle, so you gotta make sure you take care of this. And that's the number for this, 6008. All right, let's get this out of the package. All right, that fits nicely. This should be awesome. Be nice not to have many exhaust leaks. Now, they're supposed to be, you really can't see, can you? Let me grab you out of here. They're really supposed to be a special washer, and actually one of these concave nuts, convex nuts that go on here. I don't have these. They're brass washers. I need to make up something. I don't know if I'm just going to stack washers that are made of brass. And apparently, and I told you this before, it has to do with the heating and the cooling of this manifold. So the brass has a little bit more leeway, so it'll allow this to expand without cracking, because these things are very famous in the early days for cracking. So for now, I am not going to be using that, because really the only two holes that hold these up are these end studs. You can see the bat wings are used to make this connection. So just to temporarily, to keep this thing from moving, I'm going to put the first two nuts on those studs, just to hold this thing in place. Does that make sense? And then I will go back and find the correct washers for these, even though they're really difficult to find. So that's what I'm going to do for now. Trying to get you guys in a good spot here. Oh, chilly. This thing is nice though. Just keep my hands warm. This is a good idea for a cold work environment. That should be good. This back nut also gets one of those washers, the brass washers. All right, well that's at least in place enough. I don't know if you can see down this far, but I'm going to be putting the exhaust pipe to the manifold connection on. Let me see if I can get you in a better spot. See, this isn't that interesting, I don't think, but hey, you're here watching. My wingman, or wing women, whoever's watching. I don't think there's too many ladies watching. If you are, I'd like to know. Comment. I think it's awesome when young, male, female, you know, people, you know, get into working on cars. It's actually a very cool hobby. And no matter what kind of car you have, be it a Ford, a Mopar like I have, you know, exotics. I just kind of fell into Mopars because my first car was a Barracuda, 66 Barracuda, and for me it's just nostalgia. Trying to get this into. Yeah, it looks like the gasket is kind of pushing a little bit further than I need it to. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Hey, but that wasn't easy. Remember how I said this was a fun hobby? Alright, it may have been premature. Premature. Number one, are you premature? Tighten those up later. They're not going anywhere. Just don't forget to tighten them up. Let's get the woman fold, I mean the manifold. Where is it? I know it's big and black. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. There she blows. And now this one, you only have one bolt in the middle here. You see? And then before I do that, let me get our gasket. Well, can you see? Where you at? Yep. That gasket goes right here. See, I'm sure I'll have to massage this a little bit to get the mating surface on this correct. All right, getting the bat wing on, and this one here in the middle gets this special type, which I am told goes on that way. And how do I know that? Because I got a detailed drawing of that. The bat wings also go with that embossed, not embossed, but it's a angled portion going up. So that's how I had those as well. Giving these guys, yes, I know I'm using the original nuts on here. Hey, they lasted 50 something years. Should be okay. Famous last words. Sort of doing everything just hand tight. Don't want to break anything now. You're supposed to use 10 pounds of force on these. So I will get out my torque wrench, make sure that's properly set. All right, I'm getting further and further. I wound up picking up just some brass washers for this front part. Try to mimic what I think probably originally looked like this, like a domed washer. I got one here. Here's a trick. These things are really hard to reach. So what I'm doing is using a piece of fishing line. Where am I? I'm lost. Over here. Oh man. So where's okay, 3 times a charm. anyway, got everything put back together, carburetor on, got the thermostat back in, everything's all buttoned up. Got this carburetor here, which came with the manifold, and it's probably going to have to be rebuilt, but I'm going to see if we can just get this thing lit off and see if we can make some noise. All right.
Working hard, huh?
Yep. Sure am. Okay, was not expecting that. Let's see if we can get this thing moving here. That's pretty fucking funny. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a win. It did start up, got a lot of oil burning off, but that carburetor needs to be rebuilt. You can definitely tell. So that'll be the next trick. We'll get that thing taken apart and get everything all cleaned up. Hey, we got a living engine. It feels very robust. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just because I haven't run it in a while, but it seems like it's got a little kick to it. So really anxious to get the carburetor rebuilt on this and see what happens. So I'm going to catch you up on what I'm doing. Had a couple of setbacks. I think the last thing you probably saw me do was work on this carburetor, which is the Carter BBD that I bought off the guy who I bought the manifold. I did something really stupid on this. I wound up getting one of the check balls stuck in here, and I got frustrated and basically had to drill it out from the back of the carburetor. Now this has a brand new build kit on it, or you know, gasket set and everything, but I didn't want to get too much further along and then find out that I messed up the carburetor. So I actually wound up picking up one of these. I know, don't hate me for it. One of these Carter BBD knockoffs from Amazon, i.e. China. And I'm gonna actually start the car with this because I don't wanna like put this thing all together and for 90 bucks and whatever it turned out to be, it'll be an experiment. Once I get the car running and I feel confident with it and I drive it around for a while, I may switch back to this guy because obviously it's gonna be a much better carburetor. And most of it is actually still here. I need to find a bowl section for the part that I wound up drilling out. I think it'll actually seal fine, but like I said, I didn't want to mess with it with getting this thing running. So this is why I bought this carburetor. And you know, at first blush, I did some research on them. People seem to like them. Some people don't like them. I have a lot of suspicion, and I'm sorry if anybody's Chinese. I'm not talking about Chinese people. I'm talking about the Chinese government and Chinese manufacturing. Most people are good. It's the governments that are screwy. But anyway, I don't normally trust something like this, but I am going to give it a shot and see how it runs on the computer, on the car. It looks exactly the same as this Carter BBD back down here. Nice and shiny. So we'll see what happens. What else am I doing? I am mocking up a spring system here for the return spring. So I wound up putting that on, and that seems to work pretty well. Adapted this. And what else am I doing? On these Slant Sixes, they wound up having what is known as a EGR valve. I think it stands for exhaust gas regulator or something like that. But anyway, I don't need it. I wound up picking up one of these gaskets for an EGR valve for this year. And what I'm going to wind up doing is, or what I did wind up doing, is cutting a little plate out using my nice my cutoff wheel, and out of this stock. Probably wanted something a little thicker, but I think this will work all right. And I'm gonna wind up bolting that on there right now. So that's where we stand now. I still have to mock up the throttle and the kick down. Still have the old rod system on the car right now. I'm gonna take that out and put on the cable type pedal, and I'll bring you back when I move along a little further. So I'll show you later. I was able to start the engine. It runs pretty good with the new carburetor. One little issue, I see some leaking coolant on one of the studs, which is giving me a little bit of pause. So I'm going to look at that when the engine cools down. I did have it running for a little bit. So I decided to go inside the car and take care of this pedal. Slant 6 cars, 66 darts, have a rod linkage. Bar comes through there, goes to the carburetor, and this is what actuates that. V8 powered 66 cars had a separate pedal assembly, which is this guy right here. It's a cable system versus a rod system. Now, this has mounting holes, 3 mounting holes, and you can see up here, might be hard to see, but there's 2 dimples, 1, 2 down at the bottom, and then 2 more up the top, which are supposed to be the dimples for the mounting bolts that are here, and also this receiver that the cable goes through. So first order of business is to get this rod linkage part off, which has 3 screws, 3 bolts, and then I need to drill some holes and put this pedal on here. So that's where we're... All right, going to drill these holes out now with the dimples. Word of caution if you're doing this, one of the brake lines runs across the front of the cowl here. So you want to protect that. I put a piece of wood between it, so I shouldn't drill into the brake line, which would be another thing that I normally would do. The metal is very thin here. Okay. Started with a starter hole. And then I'll enlarge this one. My God, I actually have a drill that's sharp. Alright, so that's done. I probably want to put some like rubber washers around here, but probably get this pedal out of the way first. So I'm just going to mock this up here for a second so you can see what it looks like. Since it got some holes to fill, but and I gotta go measure and see what size my cable is. But that's basically how that works. All right, can you see? The next thing I'm doing is I'm on the other side of the firewall. Here's the cable for the carburetor. This is still sort of a mock-up, but what's going to happen is that goes through there, and that connects to there. Obviously, I have to cut some of this cable off, but that's what I'm attempting to do now. So I'm going to see if I can find some gasket material to put around here so we don't have some exhaust gas leak into the cabin. I'll be back. Little catch-up video. Here's what I kind of mocked up for this throttle bracket. So it's a little hard to see, but I have like a little angle going up here and then across where I can mount this bracket that holds the cable. This eventually will go onto here and then through the firewall, and I'll have to do something similar over here. I do have another one of these little doohickeys, but I can mount up something pretty quick to put the spring on here. This actually even mocked up kind of works. So draw the spring back, but it looks kind of ugly. So maybe I'll clean this up a little bit, paint it. But that's what I got so far. Okay, moving forward. Am I recording? Well, hello everyone. Back here with the Super 6 2-barrel upgrade video that I'm still working on. Had some setbacks, but I think that we're well on the way of getting this thing moving. I actually did start the car multiple times. I actually took it for a spin around the block, but I do need to finish some things. I want to finish up the accelerator cable. I want to finish, or at least start putting on the kickdown cable. So let me turn you around here. All right, I'm recording. So I didn't really like how the accelerator cable turned out. So I think in the last video you saw that I had kind of mocked up this accelerator cable bracket, which I kind of bent out of metal. And we need to do something with this spring. I don't really like the way this is on, but we'll take a look at that. So the first order of business is to get this accelerator cable back in the car. Where is it? And get that bracket here and get that all put together. And then the second part of this is going to be installing this kickdown cable. This car used to use a rod system, which is down here, but we're going to go with a kickdown cable. So we'll wind up taking these rods off, probably leave that bracket there. Not going to hurt anything. Anybody ever wanted to switch back, I will keep these cables. This cable I got, this low car cable setup is actually not the low car brand. I bought an off brand off of eBay, or might have been Amazon. I don't remember which, but I did download the low car instructions and looked at all the components, and all the components are exactly the same. So we're going to go with this. I mean, it's a cable. If it doesn't bind up, it's not going to do anything. That's about it. I'll try to set you up in a spot where you can see everything. We'll try to maybe take this thing for a ride to see if we get any sort of performance gain. But first things first, let's get the accelerator cable on. Here's the nut that is going to go on that ferrule. Or it's not a ferrule, but it's the, I don't know, it's the transition point between the cable housing and the firewall. So we'll get this on here, and we'll have to snake the cable, which I won't show you because I need two hands, but it'll go through this section and then go through that cable end, and then it'll go back out into the engine bay. So let me get this on, and we'll then go to the outside. So I got a bolt hole I can fill up here. Then we'll tighten this up. Let's take the battery cable off so I don't hit anything here. Same working around the wiring harness. That's all my luck I need. I get to the point where I get everything together and then I short the wiring system out. My luck kind of goes that way. Does your luck go that way? How you guys do with luck when you're working on cars? Write in the comments. I'd like to hear your stories. Also, if you have any questions, I know if you have watched my videos, you know I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to save a little money, have a little fun. Is this thing even tightening, or is it It's my wrench in the inside just spinning around. There goes my washer that I had on there. Alright, so that's tight enough. This is just a setting, not a setting, you know, just a dry fit in here, you know. This would come right out if I pulled on it. But next thing I need to do is put the wire through here. This is the adjustment, and we're going to do that next. Where's my wire? So this basically just has a little end on the end, a stop, if you will. Put a little pair of vice grips on that. How do these come off? Up, down, I don't remember. I think this way. Yep, that way. Alright, so we'll put the non-ball end. We're going to go through here. And we're going to go through that little hole. Can you see up there? Where is it? This is a lot longer than I need. That's the operation with it. All right, let's go on the other end. Yeah, so that's that. And what's the finishing off part for this? It's this little guy, which has a hole and a set screw. So I wish this was a little different. I guess I couldn't really do it that way. I'd like it that it had a hole on this end, so you kind of go all the way through, so you didn't have to cut the cable. Because these things, when you cut them, are just a pain in the neck because they start to fray. But I think I know a trick about this, but we're not going to try that trick. I heard that I saw a video. The guy cuts the cable down, then he puts the cable in a drill, then he heats up the cable till it gets glowy red hot, then he starts turning the drill real slowly, so it kind of twists the wires while they're hot, and then eventually it gets hot enough where they break, and it leaves you with a nice clean end, sort of like what is on this end to begin with, because that looks like what they do when they manufacture these things. All right, so I'm going to do some measuring here, make sure this is all the way down, and we're going to cut that and put this throttle bracket on. Okay. Okay, you got the cable on. Let's see how if we get full travel on this. See if I can put something heavy on that. But before we do that, I'm going to remove the pumper. Take that pin out so I'm not flooding the carb. And let's see if we get full travel on that. looks like full travel. What I'm gonna do is gonna put something on that pedal so it's all the way open. See if I have a block here. And we'll make sure that we get full carb travel. We got that block down. Let's make sure that this is wide open throttle. And it is. Look at that, no play on that. So we're as open as you can get on that. All right, so we're happy with that. And let's move on to the next part. Okay, so I mocked up this spring bracket. Yeah, pretty simple, just a little angle iron, and got 2 springs here. Smaller one nested inside this bigger one. I don't know why they do that. I think it's because if you have a spring failure, the other one will back up. So, but I was able to mock that up. This is the old spring from the old carburetor. I keep saying mock up, but I guess this whole thing actually could be considered a mock up, I guess. All right, so let's get to the other cable. We'll start doing that. I already took off that rod that was hanging up here. Where's my hand? Over here. So we'll have to take the rest of that linkage off. Be back. All right, so here's my budget cable, and here's just the budget cable. So let's get the components figured out. Like I said, this is the low car performance product directions, but like I said, it looks exactly the same. So what do we got here? Kick down mounting bracket. So that is, all of this stuff is on here. So that is already here. It's right there. So this part gets attached to that bracket that's already on the car right here. So we'll take this cable apart, and then we'll start doing that part first. See, there's that dual spring setup I'm talking about. Although they have it going between that and that, but this is a different carburetor. It looks like a 4-barrel carburetor. So here's the components that I'm going to need for this next part. You need this connection, which is shown right here, or right there, and we'll also need this screw that's inside this little bag here. So let's go up top. It actually looks like I have to take this off. I think that goes this way. Where are we? No. Gonna have to remove this throttle bracket and then attach this screw. So I'll come back and show you that. All right, get the car jacked up. Something I noticed, no matter how much light you have, you never have enough. So this is a 904 transmission, I think. Yeah, not a 727. Anyway, might be a little hard to see, but where's that bracket? Got to take this bracket off. I think that's a nut. And then this bracket off. Where is it? Follow my hand. Up here. And this little lever on the transmission is what activates the kick down. So we got to take off this rod. I know it's hard to see. And then, there we go. That's a little better picture of it. It's that rod right there. And then that gets replaced by this cable. So that gets screwed on there. See that part there? That gets taken off and put off of the transmission leg. And we'll show you that. It's a little easier to show you than to have you sit here with me, but that's the plan, what we're going to do. Actually, I misspoke a little bit. This is the part that goes on that lever, and that's attached to that cable. We'll show you, but I just didn't want to leave you hanging. That gets screwed onto where that rod is right now. Okay, so this is the tail section of the transmission. I'm taking off one of the tail bolts. Tight fit, friends. And then this little bracket goes on that. Sort of like so. Kind of hard to see, I know. And then that cable will go up top to that lever. So taking off one of these bolts and moving on. All right, so here's that bolt. Where are we? That bolt, and here's that bracket. And then that's going to go up right back in the same hole. If I can find the hole. There it is, all the way up there. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, so I got everything connected. Just have to adjust everything. I think what I have to do, where's my finger? Jesus. Is move this bolt hole up a little bit because the geometry isn't quite right. Like when I pull the throttle back, see how it pulls the cable down? I want that to go more in a straight line. So I'm going to try to move that point up a little bit, and I think that should give it the right travel. I don't want that cable to wear. Pulling it down like that, it's going to wear. It should stay a lot more straighter. Okay, we're going to adjust that. Okay, got everything together, guys and girls. That's what she looks like. I'm not sure I'm getting enough travel on the kickdown, so I just adjusted it now. But you guys haven't heard this run yet, so let me pop that on for you. We can get some kickdown. Idle might be a little high, I can't tell. Idle's pretty good. It's not enough to make it stall. Gotta tell you, I'm pretty happy with the carburetor. Well, let's hear the shift points. Slow going in the second. It just went in there. There we go. kickdown. Not even in third. Yeah, I am. Boy, it really pulls. It has a good strength to it, man. I gotta tell you. You know, it's not a race car, but definitely better than it was. I can't tell. I'm gonna go back and read the documentation. All right, we'll test the kickdown. There's first. There's second. A little hard going into second. That's about 15 miles an hour. I used to go into third probably about before 25, before I made these changes. All right, let's kick it a little bit. There's first, second. And third, about 30 miles an hour, so that's not bad. I'm not sure if the kickdown is going to work. We'll try it out once I have a better stretch of highway here. School bus. Rate the performance. It feels like a modern four-cylinder. It feels very similar pickup wise to my Mazda 3, which is a 2.0 non-turbo. It's got some pull power, you know. Can chirp a little tire. Feels like it can get to 60 much quicker than it did before, and it feels like once you get to 60 it has a little bit more to give. So that's it. Okay, I know it can burn rubber around the corners, which is kind of cheating. So here we go. Can it do a burnout? I don't think it can. We're going to give it a go though. This is downhill, so it's actually a little harder. First we'll just dump it. Okay, now we'll try to do a brake. I'm going to blow out this engine in the first try. Can't do a burnout, but it is faster, and I know I can do a burnout around a corner. Whoop-de-doo! It actually is just more fun to drive, and I know it'll get better gas mileage, so it's a win-win. And Holly 1920 carburetor is like almost impossible to tune. In addition, I fixed the exhaust leaks. And yeah, so I guess, you know, what the heck, it was a budget thing. I didn't spend a lot of money, probably maybe $300 total. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did. It was fun. A lot of frustration, but a lot of this is what is the payoff. Now that I'm done beating the hell out of the car, we'll see ya. See you next time. Who knows what's going to happen next? It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Not one of those who can easily hide. Don't have much money, but if I did, I'm buying a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes visions and travel show. No, it's not much, but it's the best that I can do. My gift is my song, yeah, this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song.